Interesting, interesting. Oh, shoot! I'm so dumb. That's not what I was trying to do. Did not see that right. Yikes. I thought it was Powder Snow. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Now that Great League has been back in rotation, I decided to try a new team, kind of similar to one of my previous teams. So if you've been watching my videos for quite some time, you're probably very familiar with the Tropius Double Dark team. I used this team quite a bit to hit page 1 on the leaderboards and climbed a ton of elo in the past, and I put a little spin on it this time around to get myself all the way to 69th in the entire world on the leaderboards and hit my highest elo of the season, breaking 3200s. This team is none other than Noctowl, Sableye, and Umbreon, which is essentially another flying Pokemon with Double Dark. The trio of Noctowl, Lantern, and Trevenant are very popular in GBL these days, so I decided to build a team that's triple strong to that Trevenant. Essentially, anytime you face a Trevenant on the opposing team, your chances of success in winning that battle is very, very high. I know there's a lot of debate on the different IV spreads of Noctowl. I personally use a very high ranked Noctowl, especially for this line, because you'll need it to win the mirror matchup. Of course, if you want to run a more attack weighted Noctowl to have better play against Azumarill and Galarian Stunfisk, you can go with that strategy as well. But in my opinion, I think the higher ranked Noctowl is much better for this mirror matchup. I'll show you why in some of this footage. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. This first matchup is probably one of the most wild battles I've ever had, so yeah, you don't want to miss this one. But anyway, Galarian Stunfisk lead, very tough. I'm going to shield here. It potentially could be an Earthquake, and I do grab a shield, which is kind of nice. Now, Galarian Stunfisk is pretty good into Noctowl. It doesn't mean you don't have any play because those Shadow Balls really add up. But again, I'm running a higher rank Noctowl, so I don't reach that wing attack breakpoint. And they do bait me with a Rock Slide here, so that is going to be a little tricky because now they get to another Earthquake. So I go for Earthquake catch, and we catch an Earthquake, which is absolutely huge for me. Mainly, my thought is I'm not going to win this matchup anyway. So I might as well try to make the most of it. And they have a Bastiodon on the back. So this team is so far ABA Steel, potentially, I mean, with 3 Seals. There's a possibility. Our Switch timers are kind of misaligned, so I'm going to get as much Shadow Ball damage as I can, and now I'm going to go to my Umbreon. Now, Umbreon is... so really on my team, there's no true Steel counter, right? Like Registeel, Galarian Stunfisk, Bastiodon all have a lot of play even into Sableye and Umbreon, so you have to rely on a lot of neutral damage. But I'm telling you right now, without very strong steel counters, I'm going into 2 so far. And of course, because our timers are misaligned, they come in the Medicham, so I'm coming back in with my Medicham. My cat is not having it, so that's fine. So I noticed that because our switch are misaligned, I'm actually going to throw a foul play here, expecting a catch, and here actually comes the Bastiodon. That Bastiodon had energy, and I essentially got rid of it before it got able to throw a Stone Edge, which was kind of nice. I thought it was going to be the Galarian Stunfisk that's going to come in, but actually ends up being Bastiodon. But that was kind of just a read I had, because typically speaking, if I threw it in any other situation, hit the Medicham. But we almost even time out there, and I was able to finish off my opponent there, which was pretty wild. Anyway, if you had to rewatch that one on half the speed, go for it. I definitely sped up my video, but there's a lot going on there. Did not win the lead, did not have switch advantage at any point in time, able to come away with it. That's definitely a weirder team that you probably don't see very often. You're not going to see typically Galarian Stunfisk with a Bastiodon on the back because they're so weak to fighting Pokemon amongst many other things like Swamperts. So this is something more typical. So you lose the lead really hard. They come in Noctowl here. I used to throw Return in this matchup. Both Return and Foul Play are the same energy efficiency coming from a Sableye. But I found that going for the Foul Play and baiting the Return is much better, in my opinion. You just get a little more value. And of course, I don't really want much health on this Noctowl, so I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here, and then now I'm going to throw the Foul Play. Now, this is a good sign. The fact that they haven't swapped out means that they don't have a true counter to this Umbreon, and typically that is going to be the case. So I'm going to get some play here, and I end up no shielding, and here comes a Shadow Charizard. Actually, they build up quite a bit of energy, but even though Shadow Charizard hits hard, the wing attacks are not enough to take me out. So I'm going to no shield a potential Blast Burn, and then we throw another Foul Play just to get rid of their shields. And then now at this point I realize I'm just going to go for fast move damage because I can't possibly get to another move, and we finish it off. All right, Trevenant. As I said before, it's pretty hard to lose against anyone running a Trevenant team. I do get baited with a Rock Slide, which is a little unfortunate. But they are really fighting for switch advantage because they're like, well, I don't have really any play into this Noctowl with Trevenant, so they're doing their best, and that's why they decided to bait me, and that's fine. But we are going to just keep throwing these Foul Plays, and again, switch advantage here is not super crucial. They spend shields, which is nice. I'm just going to let this go even if it's an Earthquake. No problem. It is going to be an Earthquake. We're going to let it go. And yeah, let's see what they have in the back here. I don't get to another move, unfortunately. So I'm going to come in with the Noctowl, draw some of this energy. Now, the reason why I came in Noctowl here is because they have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. They probably have a third Pokemon in the back that's a second Pokemon in the back that's pretty good to Noctowl because it's so strong to Trevenant, right? My guess is maybe it was like Steel type or Lantern. That's exactly what I saw. So I want to save my shield for the Sableye instead, right? I'm going to tank the damage, and now my Sableye has much more play because I know the Sableye could already beat the Trevenant, right? So if I save the health on Sableye, I have a lot more ability to beat the third Pokemon in the back. And here is the Lantern. So it might not seem like the best play to bring in the Noctowl into the Galarian Stunfisk, but that is the most ideal play to maximize here. Now, this is a really interesting matchup. They come in with a Altaria here. And something I've noticed, especially if you have a higher rank Sableye, is you can Shadow Call down if you land a return. You have to spend both shields, but you can win switch over and come out with a bunch of energy. And for me, that is worth it, right? And so now they come in with Deoxys Defense, and I should be able to grab at least one shield here, which is going to put me in a good spot. They come in Deoxys Defense to catch one of the Foul Plays, and then now they come in with a Shadow Dragonair, actually, which also has a shield the Foul Play. So even though they call it the Foul Play, they still have to shield it. And now I get hit by Body Slam. The Dragon Master are really going to add up, and also shields down at this point. My Umbreon has so much play here. And Deoxys Defense is going to try to get to move, but unfortunately it's not able to before I take it out with the Sky Attack. I didn't even have to use Umbreon in that matchup. That's kind of how one-sided it was, and that was really because I was able to farm down with the Shadow Claw. So definitely a potential strategy if you see Altaria come in and no shield return. Obviously, the shield return, you just let it go, right? Because you can't win the matchup at that point. All right, opponent comes in with the Pelipper, and again, double steal back line, right? I know some people say like that have tried my team because I stream using the team. They're like, how do you beat double steals and stuff, right? You actually have a lot of play. Again, you don't have true counters to steal with this team, but at the same time, the Sableye and the Umbreon just do so much damage over time. And as you can see here, I'm going to farm up a little extra here. I think I threw on Charge from Priority to force them to no shield. And here comes their Regiseal. And again, Regiseal is very good into both Noctowl and Umbreon. But I'm going to let this move go through. Focus Blast is not the end of world here, even though it does more damage than Zap Cannon. At least I'm not debuffed now. So I'm going to do a decent amount of damage. And yeah, this is not amazing. So that Focus Blast is going to take me out here. So now I have a lot of energy here. I'm going to bait with a Sky Attack. And it looks like my opponent tries to catch. Unfortunately, they cannot catch a move here. This should just be a Weather Ball, and I could Wing Attack down, and we're going to Charge from Priority here to take out the Regiseal. So again, 2 seals in the back, no problem. All right, Noctowl here. So this is why having a high rank Noctowl is really important. If both Noctowls let these Sky Attacks go, right? If they shield one, I just swap to my Sableye at some point in time. But if you both let it go, the high rank Noctowl can farm down the opposing Noctowl, take it out with Wing Attacks, and have a Sky Attack ready. If you both have high rank Noctowls, you're both going to get to that third Sky Attack, and you need to throw that Sky Attack because you're literally going to be on 1 HP. I've seen this scenario happen, and if you're the one that throws first, they shield, they get 1 HP shield knocked out. As if you didn't know already, a shield prevents all the damage from incoming charge move except for one. But yeah, and typically why I think it's so valuable in winning this lead mirror matchup for Noctowl is, unless you run into a mirror team, typically speaking, having alignment is really important for Noctowl teams. Something I just noticed, right? It's not always going to be the case, but as you can see in this matchup, it is a nice example of that. Sometimes, a lot of times they have like a Medicham or a fighting type Pokemon as well in the back, and then something else that the Umbreon's good into. So having that switch advantage is very important, in my opinion, in that Noctowl mirror. Alright, so my opponent is does have a Shadow Sableye, which is kind of interesting. But with the alignment we have here, we're in a really good spot, and the Registeel didn't really get much value off of my Noctowl too, because it just got like one lock on. Alright, this is a really popular team. I know a lot of people climbed the leaderboard with it recently, this past few weeks, and so it's one that I really struggle with facing, because this Dragonair just does a ton of damage to my Noctowl, and as you can see, I couldn't even get to another Sky Attack. Typically, I should be able to. This one might be running a higher attack one. I don't know. Either way, I was like not in a good spot here, because I'm like, wow, we're not doing well. We're in a very tough spot. This Dragonair itself is almost taking out both of my Pokemon. And then they actually come in Bastiodon here. So I want to just chip this Bastiodon as much as possible and then come my Sableye. Of course, I gave this Bastiodon a lot of energy, but I have a shield advantage, so I should be okay. I kind of expected there to be a Medicham in the back. They might have thought I had something else, like maybe a Galarian Stunfisk they needed the Medicham for. But yeah, so this is once I see the shield, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably that Bastiodon Medicham team that I've been seeing a lot of, and I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot because of that. Alright, so we are just going to do as much as we can here, and we're going to throw this Foul Play. I don't really want to risk getting hit by a Stone Edge, and if it is Medicham, Ice Punch should be not enough to take me out. And I'm going to go straight for the return. They actually run Power Punch, I forgot. Typically in this team composition, they run Power Punch Psychic, which makes it much worse for them when they face a Medicham, or when they face a Sableye. Alright, this is a really tough matchup here. Two reasons. One, Alolan Ninetales is very good into the team. And two, you have to see what fast one they have. If they have Charm, then you stay in, right? So you always have to wait for them to throw. You can't insta-swap right away. So you're always going to be, you're already going to be behind on energy when you swap in, but you might be more behind than you typically are. And I always no-shield the first move because I've never got hit by a Dazzling Gleam. It's always Weather Ball. But the problem is you end up still losing the 2-shield scenario. That's exactly what happens, right? Of course, if my opponent shielded move there, that would have been different. But they actually let that potential move go, and then now they have the alignment. And this is where it gets really tough, because from my experience, typically speaking, Alolan Ninetales leads that stay into that Sableye are very good into. They have another check into that Noctowl. So we see this Medicham come out, and even though it's Ice Punch, it's still going to do quite a bit of damage here. And then here's going to be a Lantern, and that's going to be GG's. So it's a very tough lead, all things considered. Of course, if it's Charm Ninetales, you're fine. You just stay in, and as long as you have shields, you should be okay. But against a Power Snow Alolan Ninetales, it's very, very tough if they decide to try to maintain switch advantage. All right, Bastiodon. Very bad for this team. And then Shadow Bell, also not great. I have a pretty high rank Purified Sableye here, so I know I could get to actually 2 Foul Plays, which is kind of nice. I grab both shields. So that's a little. I think a lot of Sableyes typically can get at least. They definitely get 1 Foul Play off, but sometimes they can't get 2. I don't really shield anything there, just because even though it's a Bastion on the back, like it's just no point shielding because they still end up. They can always shield back and still maintain alignment. So, at least in this situation, I have 2 shield advantage, and it is going to be another Shadow Razor Leafer, which is going to come in handy for me. This damage is really adding up, though, so I need to take it out as soon as possible. I'm not going to overfarm here. I'm not going to mess around. I need to save my shields for the Bastiodon. They don't get to throw a single move off, which is nice. In this situation, I need to just whittle down this Bastiodon as much as possible. Luckily, the Smackdowns don't do a ton of damage, so I could just save my shields for that Stone Edge. And hopefully, over time, with that shield advantage, I can put this Bastion low enough. And here, I'm going to throw a Foul Play. I don't know if I get to another one, so I'm going to... Actually, I guess I don't swap. Yeah, okay, we do get to another move. I was a little scared I wasn't going to make to it. And here comes the Noctowl, and we are able to wing attack down. So even Bastiodon lead, you have play. Again, you gotta rely on the bulk of that Umbreon to do some work here. Right, Dragonite. Dragonite is also a tricky one too. Just like that Dragonair, it does so much fast move damage. I'm going to no shield here because I know I could grab another shield from them with a Sky Attack. They actually swapped to Dedenne. Dedenne is a huge core breaker. It has positive matchups against all 3 of my Pokemon, but here's the thing, and I've used Dedenne in the past, so no hate to anyone that loves Dedenne, but it is just not very good. It just lacks bulk and lacks damage at the same time. As you can see here, it's losing to a dark type, right? So yeah. And now here comes the Azumarill, which I definitely want to see because I needed to take this out for oh, and they actually come in Dragonite here, which is a little tricky. But I'm gonna throw the foul play right away, probably get a shield here, or they let it go, and they do shield here. And so now I'm gonna come in with my Umbreon. I know this is probably gonna be a superpower, so I'm gonna let it go and then overform a little bit. I need some energy for that Azumarill because it does have that play rough here. The good thing about Azumarill is it's not doing much fast move pressure and has to throw a lot of its energy to take you out. So here's probably going to come in Ice Beam. They actually go Play Rough. Maybe they don't have Ice Beam. Maybe they're running Hydro Pump. But we are able to outpace here with a Sableye and take it out. Yeah, so again, no true counters to Fairies either, but you just got to tag team it. That's the best part about this team. There's a lot of neutral play all around. It makes it a little bit difficult to play at times, but I think if you learn the team inside out, you could be very, very good with it. Now, Lickitung is a great lead, all things considered. It's pretty good into the Sableye, but otherwise it's not great into the Noctowl nor the Umbreon. Now, they come in with the Noctowl. Typically, I throw a Sky Attack and come with my own Umbreon to make sure I can maintain switch advantage here. Sorry, excuse me. The main thing here is the Lickitung does have a ton of play into the Umbreon as well. So that means that I probably see the third Pokemon at this point. I'm going to throw this foul play right away so I don't get potentially licked down. And they actually have an Obscune. This is actually really bad for me. Now, this team particularly is not great against Obscune, not only in the back-end matchup, but also against Noctowl too. It's not the easiest matchup. Now, I just have to hope they don't boost. I'm going to choose to let go, even have 2 shields here. What I want to do is convince my opponent that I don't need this Noctowl and I have something in the back that's good against Obscune. And exactly as expected, they choose not to shield as well. If they shield that Obscune, I would have been in trouble. But I need to play into their play little mind games and try to convince them that that Obscune does not have much play, even though the Obscune has a ton of play into my entire team. And now we still have a shield remaining on the Sableye, and this is going to be pretty close here. I am going to shield the Power Whip here, and that's going to definitely be good for me. I should be able to handle another Power Whip, so I'm not too worried. But it's going to put me quite low, and here it comes. But I get to the foul play in time, take out Lickitung. So obviously a great lead matchup, but the Obscune back could have been disastrous if things went a different way. Alright, so I typically swap out this eventually if they stay in, but for this specific matchup, they swapped out right away. And I'm going to come in with my Umbreon here after charging up some extra energy. I like to do that because this matchup is pretty one-sided. Despite, you know, it being very neutral, Umbreon just so much bulkier, and stab foul plays are just a little bit more useful than non-stab drill runs. And so, again, my opponent is going to throw some more. I don't mind my Umbreon being low on health at this point, too, because it's just less farm for that Medicham. And then now we are going to throw a foul play here. And they actually shield. And then I get a foul play off here, and I choose not to shield because my Sableye has a lot of play. I'd rather come out with a shield advantage here and see what happens. And it's actually going to be a Bastiodon on the back. And again, it's not that bad. All right, so I'm going to throw some Shadow Balls to weaken the Bastiodon because I know I need to tag team the Bastiodon. Now it's weakened. Got a few smackdowns through. But this Medicham has nowhere to go now. And I'm going to shield everything the Bastiodon's going to throw at me. Looking at the health of Bastiodon, I haven't even thrown a single charge from the Sableye yet. But the added Shadow Ball damage, even though not that great against Bastiodon, is going to help make this tag team effort much easier. Opponent actually shields the Bastiodon now because they know they need to take out the Sableye somehow. And now they actually come in with this Medicham, and I'm going to actually bring in the Noctowl because our switch timers are back up again. And I go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I just want to take out this Medicham, and because I already have a move on the Sableye, I'm okay. And you know what? I'm just going to go for a little return, a little fun. It's not the super effective move, but it's enough to take out the Bastiodon. All right, Wigglytuff here. I just want to show you all how to play Charm leads. because of that charm nerf as well. These are not doing a ton of damage, so you could kind of hang even here. And it's actually going to be a Shadow Gliscor here, which is a little interesting. I'm going to shield potential Earthquakes. It's going to do a lot of damage, but otherwise the Night Slashes are not going to be very effective. So unless they bait me here, I can kind of expect that they're just going to go straight Earthquake here. I'm going to let this one go. I know I should be able to handle it. Umbreon's super bulky, and then now I'm going to farm up a little extra and throw a Foul Play, and they actually shielded. So I'm going to throw another one because I have the energy lead, and I go for the combo play here because I'm not going to win Switch. I don't want them to have too much energy, and I want to waste their energy. They come back in with the Wigglytuff, which is exactly what I wanted to see. And now we have a Medicham, and I'm just going to shield because I get off a Shadow Ball. It's going to do a lot of damage, and we have to save out to clean it up, right? So I might as well just speed this up a little bit, and I think they're going to know what's going to happen once they see the save Y. But yeah, Charm leads. It's not great because nothing truly beats Charm on the team, but it's exactly where we want to see it. And we have ourselves not only a mirror matchup, but also a Noctowl both wearing the New Year's hat. And I didn't know at the time, but the person I'm facing is actually one of my patrons' wife. And so she obviously was looped in on the team and hit Legend with the team as well, too. I didn't know at the time, but again, here's where you want to see the high rank Noctowl come in handy here. If we get to another Sky Attack here, you see how I got to it, right? And I didn't throw. So I'm going to end up spending 2 shields, which is maybe not ideal, right? Maybe I should have thrown the Sky Attack because I could have grabbed this shield, but I just wasn't sure if I was going to win Charge and Priority or not. And we catch a Foul Play on the Sableye at least, which is kind of nice. They're still up 2 shields, and of course at the time I didn't know that this was a mirror team. It's the only mirror team I faced, actually, running this line. Obviously my patrons knew about it, and then anyone watching my streams also caught wind of it. And so yeah, people have been trying it, and we take it out, and it's an Umbreon on the back. So of course, you know, to my surprise, I'm sure she might have known I was running this team. I just didn't know that she was. So it is definitely very interesting to see how it plays out here. So we are able to get some more moves off here, and let's see what happens. I do come in with the Noctowl here to do some additional damage. I'm thinking, you know, I should be in a good spot, right? I still have the Sableye. Sableye's pretty healthy here. I haven't done anything at this point, right? I'm looking at her situation right now. I'm thinking, okay, there's almost no way I lose this, right? There is a shield on her side, but I still have a Sableye with more than 2/3 my health, and unfortunately gets to another move. So now this is getting super close. That Umbreon's doing a ton of work. A timer's about to come up, and I lose on Charge and Priority. So it could not have gotten any closer. Incredibly well played from my patron's wife there. Overall, the team has been a huge success. Of course, one thing I didn't mention is that because I ran this team in this current season after the recent Charm nerf, there weren't a lot of Charm teams, but if you ever run into any double Charm team, you're just gonna lose. And there's no way around it. Unfortunately, I've tried facing it a couple of times, and just know that there's pretty much 0 win cons. If you somehow beat someone running double Charm, especially in the back, please let me know. Please tag me if you have a screen recording of it. I would love to see how you pull that off. Because Charm is so minimal in the current meta, it's actually a very small risk in running this team, and it's a risk I'm willing to take, and it paid off. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck on your climb to Legend or the next rank or on the leaderboard. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share. Subscribe for future content. Hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time.